like, what, I'm supposed to be wearing granny panties or something? You can wear panties that are good for your punani.
My enemy pray on me, so pray for me. Tick, wait on it.
Hey Spice Squad, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Niall. Make sure you press that red subscribe button down below and press the bell so you don't miss a thing your girl posts. So today we are going to get all up into this feminine hygiene, okay? I feel like this is the perfect time to be talking about it because we're under quarantine and a lot of people aren't leaving their houses and people think they can skip out on the essential hygiene routines that we go through on the regular, like when we're leaving the house on the regular, going to work on the regular, going to the gym on the regular, going to stores on the regular. Although we're in the house most of the time, we still need to keep up with our hygiene, ladies, okay? And if you're a guy and you're watching this and you clicked on it, don't click off. This might be good for you to watch. You might have a lady, you might have daughters, you might have females in your vicinity that you might want to share this video with because they haven't been keeping up on their hygiene. So I'm just gonna get into the tips that I've learned growing up, that I've learned over time, that I've done a little research on as well. And disclaimer, I am not a OBGYN, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I am not a scientist. So these are just things that I've learned through trial and error from my parents and from older siblings and just being passed down and just going through the motions. And some things I'm gonna say, you're gonna be like, duh, like everybody knows that. Everybody might know that, but that does not mean they're practicing the correct hygiene functions. And that's the thing, that's why this needs to be put out here, okay? Okay, first things first. We need to shower every day. You might think like, oh, I took a shower last night and I've been in the house all day. I haven't left the house. I haven't worked out. I haven't really sweat. And first thing, you have sweat. You might not see it dripping off of you. You might not see it through your clothes, but you sweat every day. And you sweat mostly at night. Although you don't wake up drenched, you still sweat. So that's a big thing. You need to shower every day. You need to clean your pum pum, your punani, your coochie, your vagina. You need to clean that every day. She needs to be rinsed out. She needs to be rinsed out, okay? Because we sweat. And when it's moist down there in our punani area, it starts to develop a smell. It builds up bacteria. We have a self-cleaner, but that will start to build up. And once that builds up, it gets super moist. And that's when bacteria and infections start to occur. Also, as we talk about the moistureness and it being very moist and wet down there, after you have sex, after you have intercourse, it is very important for you to rinse her out and clean her out down there. The buildup of bacteria, the buildup of chemicals and the bacteria from the condom, they have things and particles in them that need to be cleaned out of you, that need to be rinsed out, or they will start to develop, pile on top of each other and start to create an infection, a smell, and it's just nasty. And this is something I think you guys are gonna be like, duh. After you pee, after you urinate, make sure to wipe. You don't want to keep it wet down there. Some stuff I looked up, you will not believe how many like women do not wipe themselves after they pee. They're like in a rush, they pee, they like shake up and down, jiggle it out, and then pull up their underwear. I'm not gonna lie, I remember doing that as a little girl, like as a kid. I was just trying to get back outside. I was just trying to get with my friends. And y'all can try to play, like act like y'all didn't do that. I would do that and my panties would be all nasty. My mom would always say something smart or something slick. But if you are not wiping yourself, it's gonna stink. It's gonna stink down there and it's gonna be built up bacteria. It's gonna be moist and it's gonna be nasty. So make sure you're wiping, ladies. And we wanna wipe from front to back. Front to back, not back to front, because you don't want to get the little poopy particles up in your vagina area. Nah, okay? Okay. Next thing, you want to be careful the type of underwear that you're wearing and how often you're wearing certain underwears. So I'm gonna tell you the underwear that probably a lot of ladies like to wear and they think are super sexy, and also because like certain underwear you have to wear with certain outfits so that it doesn't look tacky and you can't see your panty line in your panties. These, yes, I just put a pair of my thongs on the internet, but they're clean. These are something that you should not be wearing on an everyday basis all day long. This is not good for the punani because it's just something up in your business all day long, and it's not breathing. So wearing these type of panties, thongs, G-strings, even like cheeksters, and even underwear that are up your butt all day, along with tight, super tight jeans, super tight booty shorts that are coochie cutters, Daisy Dukes, all of those. You got to be careful how often you wear those. Not saying you shouldn't wear those and you can't wear those. Just be careful how often you wear them. Because with all that being stuck up in your business, it doesn't allow your punani to breathe. It doesn't allow it to get any air. And that it keeps all the bacteria and the self-cleaner with the stuff that comes out. All of that is just being chunked up and stuck in there. And it can start to develop a smell. It's not good. You might be like, what, I'm supposed to be wearing granny panties or something? They don't have to be the granny ones. They can be like some boy shorts, like these. Hot stuff. Y'all know I like hot sauce, so I be getting underwear and stuff that got peppers on them, hot sauce and everything. You'll be surprised how many I have. But yeah, these are like boy shorts, and they cover everything, and they're comfortable. And you should also have cotton underwear. So these are cotton. You should stay away from the silk and the lace underwear because they don't capture the moistness that is down there. So cotton captures it and it dries pretty fast. But if you have on lace and you have on silk and satin, it does not capture the moisture, and it will continue to stay wet and very moist down there. Cotton underwear captures that and it dries it for you so that it's not being built up, it's not bacteria, and it's not stinky, nasty, and blah. Okay? This might seem like health class 101, but you'll be surprised how many ladies don't understand how important it is, and they wonder why they continue to have UTIs and different infections and have to go to the doctors and yeast infections, etc., etc. It's some simple things that we can do for ourselves that will save us a doctor's visit. So you guys heard me saying like letting your coochie breathe. So that's a big one. You want to let it breathe. And sometimes you'll be like, how am I going to just let my coochie breathe? Because I live with people, I live with my parents still, I live with siblings, I have roommates, and you might not always want to sleep naked depending on who you sleep with or who you're sharing a room with. And personally, I don't know if I'm weird, but I don't like to sleep naked. I like to have pajama clothes on. Like whether I have a pajama shirt on and some underwear, pajama top and bottoms. I like cute pajama. I like worn out pajama clothes that like are just super comfortable, and I think it's a comfort thing. I don't know. But I like to sleep in like pajama clothes. I don't like to sleep in itty bitty like sexy lingerie. I don't like to sleep in thongs. Like you shouldn't sleep in thongs anyway. Like I can see if you're dressing up for your husband or something like that, you know, for the moment, get y'all thing on. And then afterwards you need to clean up and then let your joint breathe or put on some cotton underwear. But anyways, I'm saying this because you need to let your coochie breathe. Let it woosah. That is essential, like to let it breathe and get some fresh air. It's just like a scab or a wound. You know when they say don't always put a band-aid on it for too long, you want to let it breathe. You want to do the same thing for your coochie. So maybe you have a robe on and you're just letting loose. Maybe you put on some like loose lounge pants and no underwear. You want to let it breathe. That's very essential for your coochie, for it to breathe, let it go through the motions, and let it get some like fresh air. That's like a little tip that I found on the internet, that if you let it breathe, it helps to have like a healthy vagina environment. Like that's what it said. So I'm like, cool. Like I let my coochie breathe from time to time. So I guess that's why things are working well. TMI? Is that TMI? Sorry. Sorry. So this might sound cliche, you hear this all the time, but you are what you eat, right? So that is externally you are what you eat, and internally you are what you eat. So if you're eating a lot of garbage, you're gonna start seeing garbage come out of you, as far as like acne, unwanted fat, sicknesses, and unwanted like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, etc. So as far as your vagina area, you are what you eat. So you know how like when you drink a lot of soda, a lot of juices, your pee is super strong, it's super yellow, and it stinks. That's because of the food and the fluids that you're putting into your body. So if you cut all the juices, all the sodas, you're only drinking water, you drink a lot of fruit, you do clean eating, healthy eating, you see results externally but also internally, as far as having lower blood pressure, having lower cholesterol, and things being regular as far as your fluids that are coming out of your punani. So I looked it up online, and a lot of people knows like when you eat like they say like pineapple. I eat pineapple all day, but pineapples, watermelons, fruits, cherries, strawberries, cantaloupe. Don't like cantaloupe, but all those different types of fruits, when you're eating veggies and when you're eating clean, your stuff is cleaner. And that's just real stuff. Like people will say it tastes sweeter, it tastes better, it'll smell better, and it'll look better, it'll look more clear. So eat your fruit, sis. Eat clean, sis. Let go of the soda, sis. Be very careful about what soaps you use down there. You'll hear from almost anyone not to use scented soaps. Like, do not use scented soaps down there. Some people like the Bath and Body Works body wash. You like different body washes that smell like strawberries, cotton candy, and perfumes and stuff. Do not use that down there. Don't use scented wipes. Don't use scented baby wipes. Don't use scented feminine wipes. Don't use anything scented in your vaginal area. I would say, and also don't use any scented pads or scented tampons. That is not good for the punani. You want to use everything unscented and get as organic and like hardly no particles or chemicals in whatever you're putting down in the punani. I recently, like I've been telling you guys in previous videos for the past couple of weeks, I've been using Dr. Bronner's soap. So I also have the lavender one, and this is like all the way organics. Everything is super natural. You can actually read the ingredients and know what everything on here says. Like you know what it is on here. Like if you don't know what it is in something, like if you can't read it and like look it up, most likely it's not good. It has like no detergents. This is just like a really super good soap that is good for your skin, especially if you're sensitive, and especially when you're washing and you're messing with the area down there. You want to make sure it's like unscented and everything is just natural and organic, and you're not putting chemicals that you don't know down there, especially scented ones. So be careful about that, because that can cause a smell, can cause bacteria infections, etc. Okay, so moving on a little bit from the punani, because the punani is super important and I wanted my ladies to know, okay? But let's just get on to just hygiene in general. Deodorant. Wear your deodorant, ladies. And find a deodorant that works for you. Like my mom used to always like test me before I left the house and be like, put her nose all up in my underarm to make sure like I'm not stinking and I'm not smelling. They say like the best deodorants are the ones that have the least amount of chemicals in them and like natural ones. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't found like an all natural one that smells good and doesn't have me sweaty or smelling musty. I used to use Secret, the powder one, like one of the regular Secrets, and that did not work for me in the summer because I'm a sweater. Like I sweat regardless, like sweat in the gym like crazy, but like even when it's hot outside, like I'm a sweater. My underarms sweat, my stomach sweats, my thighs sweat, my neck sweat. I sweat. What does work for me is Degree. I use Degree, the sports Degree, women, the female one. I've also used like the men one too. Like it works for me. It keeps me dry under my arms, and it also has a lasting smell, and I never smell musty with it. And it works when I'm working out as well, which is a big plus. This might sound a little weird as well. Next one, wash your feet. So you may not know it, you may not feel it, but your feet sweat. And I'm not saying you're in the shower, you're washing your regular body and the water hits them. No, take a scrubby, take a washcloth and wash your foot, because there's sweat and there's chemicals that can eventually evolve a smell if you're not washing them. Your sneakers, if you wear sneakers and shoes often, like if they're your work sneakers, your work shoes, or your gym shoes, you want to make sure you wash them, or take the soles out and wash the soles. If you can't physically wash them in the washer, hand wash them, because they develop a smell and that stench gets on your foot and it can stick there, especially if you're not washing your feet consistently and carefully. Okay? Okay. All right. Didn't think I would need to talk about this, but it needs to be talked about. All right, most of us brush our teeth every day, hopefully you at least brush your teeth twice a day, and that's like once in the morning, once at night. I believe you're supposed to brush your teeth after every meal that you have, but I can see how that can not be convenient for you, especially depending on where you work and what you do all day. But at night and in the morning, essential. Mouthwash, essential. However, those are things we know. But do you know to brush your tongue? Like, do you know if you do all that and you don't brush your tongue, that's disgusting, and your breath still smell because you have that bacteria built up on your tongue? Brush your tongue, sis. Brush your tongue. Scrub that joint. If you brush everything else and you don't brush your tongue, you're gonna have bacteria on top of bacteria on top of bacteria staying with you, and it stinks. If you're ever around somebody and they breath stink and you're bold, like, do you brush your tongue when you brush your teeth? You should try it. Nasty. And another thing that I found that has recently been brought to my attention, like once a week I would switch out my towels. But I was told to switch out my towels like every couple days or every other day, because like it builds up bacteria. Even if you're like getting out of the shower and you're clean, there's still stuff on you. So it gets built up bacteria. Even if you're using it to like dry your hand really quick, you might not wash your hands thoroughly, there's bacteria on your towels. So you want to make sure that you're switching out your towels often, or you're at least washing them often. So I like to like not wash my clothes every week. I like try to wash my clothes like once a month because I have so much that I can do that. So I try to savor my towels. But no, I need to start switching out my towels every other day or every couple days to not put dirty bacteria back onto my body. So my body breaks out, like I will, like my chest will break out, I might get like a rash on like my stomach. I think it's because of like, it's like my eczema, and like my skin is just sensitive, y'all. So I have to really take care and be cautious of like the bacteria and the different things that I use on my skin and on my body, as well for your punani. Okay, so the last tip I'm gonna leave with y'all is, no offense to anybody this whole video, like I hope I haven't offended anyone, because some tips that I learned I have to apply myself, but super no offense to my bush babes. If we have hair down there and it's bushy down there, just try to keep her trimmed up. Try to keep her trimmed up as much as you can. I know in this generation, a lot of us females get waxes, or we're having laser hair removal, or we're like shaving it bald to the golds, like no hair at all. But it's a good thing to try to at least keep it trimmed if you are someone that likes to have hair down there. And it's not bad to have hair down there, but you want to keep it trimmed, because a lot of hair, just like the hair on our heads, is the more hair you have, the more sweat that builds up, which means more moisture, which means more yeast and bacteria build up, which all can lead back to infections. And it can be nothing to do with someone else. It can just be you having too much built up moisture, bacteria, and sweat that causes infections and yeast things and yucks. Okay? So keep her trimmed up. So that's all I got for y'all today. And I hope this hygiene video has helped you out, or you learned something new, something to take back, or something to share with someone else. If you already knew these things, maybe you could just share the video, be like, look sis, I'm not just saying this, but sis right here is saying this too. We want to stay clean and keep our hygiene up, especially during quarantine, because you might be skipping out on things, or you might not just be taking care of yourself. You might have just lost motivation and hope to just keep yourself up. But we got to keep ourselves up, because outside is opening back up and we need to be ready, okay? Alright y'all know what I always say. Be the light wherever you go, because wherever you go, the light shall follow. I love you guys so much, and make sure you hit that red subscribe button and tap on that bell. Tap, tap.